Courtney, is there a reason why I can't get on the internet? The Wi-Fi for it's Irmo staff, right? Irmo staff, right? It's asking for that. What the horse shit?
No, I mean, he should be able to
Yeah.
get on the cellular.
And so we were like, all right, we'll sit at the bar.
He can't get on the Wi-Fi.
So we were waiting to sit at the bar. And then two people came, like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's
short.
cellular.
We were like,
I didn't reset it or I don't know.
Cellular?
Isn't it
Let me put the Bluetooth
use your data?
we said, okay, we'll sit at the bar.
on. Where? Down here?
Yeah, well just turn your Wi-Fi off and it should just start.
Oh, okay. Turn it off and turn it back on again?
Just turn it off altogether.
Yeah.
And then now you should be able just to go onto the internet.
Oh, really?
I was like, I'm not gonna, I don't care what you say. No, not that, no, that's fine. We have the bars and two separate bars.
Courtney, you gotta do something about this.
What?
The screen.
I'm getting a new. Yeah, we want to order, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get to the agenda.
It's working. It's just you're slow, that's all.
It's gotta be at Myrtle Beach or Hilton Head.
Okay.
Are you on Wi-Fi? So you're
No,
using your data,
actually,
right?
I'm on another, I've got the file.
You're in the lobby and you were like, I was like, I'm not even gonna.
I was in,
You downloaded it or something?
I downloaded it and
Oh.
put it into this other software so I can make notes, write notes on it.
Whatever. So I don't have. Well, I have it on
You
here.
should be able to airdrop it to
I'm
you
not
because
worried
your
about it.
iPad. If you want to do it that way.
No. I don't need. I usually just tap on it. It comes up, but it's not doing it now. So we'll worry about it later on.
I don't think the fact, I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah. I never really liked them.
Anybody signed up? All right. Okay.
I can't, it's strange, but I can't figure out the,
Mr. Mayor, six-pack if we can do it in under an hour.
I can't figure out the,
Incentive.
there you go.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'd like to call the Irmo public hearing to order to receive comments on R03-207-0122. Is anybody here for the public hearing on that, to receive comments on that public hearing? Seeing none, I'm gonna call that to a close, and I'm gonna bring the public hearing to order to hear comments on ordinance, on TMS number R0330200101. Anybody here to make, comments on that? And to receive comments on tax map number R0330300202. Anybody here to make public comments on that? Seeing none, call those two public hearings to a close. And I'd like to begin with the regular town council meeting. I call the regular Irmo Town Council meeting of July 19th, 2022 to order. And I recognize Dr. Barbara Wallman to do the pledge and the invocation. Thank you. And please stand with her.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, please give this council your guidance as we thoughtfully and carefully discuss the items on tonight's agenda and make decisions that are in the best interest of the citizens of the town of Irmo. Amen.
Thank you. I also continue on. We have received the minutes of the June 21st, 2022 meeting, and my screen is blinking on and off. Does that mean something? Is something going on, or okay? Is,
You got it over here.
well, mine, yours is
Yours is back. Oh,
okay. I don't know what's happening, but it's blinking on and off. Okay. We received the minutes of the June 21st meeting and electronically. Is there a motion to accept the June 21st meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Are there any changes to the minutes? Any changes, modifications to the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of acceptance of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We had a workshop. What happened to the minutes from that workshop?
Didn't have enough time,
Oh, okay.
because it was last week.
Yeah, I got you. So we'll have it again. Okay, no problem. All right, report of standing, administrative briefing. We received administrative briefing electronically. Are there any changes for Mr. Dennis? Mr. Dennis, do you have any changes for the council? Okay, thank you very much. New in town businesses, Mr. Sickinger, do we have any new in town businesses in Irmo?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we do. The list is long. Southern Styles Hair Studios, K. Shemaine Photography, Prudential, Columbia Lactation Care, Tantalizing Vixton, and El Charro Canteen and Cocina, LLC.
Okay. Fantastic, thank you. We'll continue to grow, that's what I like to see. Amendments to the agenda, do we have any amendments to the agenda? I have one on amendments to the agenda on item number 10A, ordinance 2217. That's rezoning from fringe agriculture to residential single family. The owner has requested that to come off because they're gonna resubmit it to the planning commission with a different zoning request. So I make a motion, we strike that item, new business item A. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's properly moved and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, will clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay, thank you. So item A under new business is taken off the agenda. Any other amendments to the agenda? Seeing none. Consideration of communications. Will y'all join me down here front? This is a point of the meeting where we get to acknowledge and recognize our great businesses in the town of Irmo. And this month especially is one of my favorite businesses in Irmo that, as you can tell, I frequent them on a regular basis.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
This is Chris, I'm probably your last name?
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson from Jersey Mike's, and I want to the town council would like to recognize you as Jersey Mike's Subs in recognition of being the small business of the month for the town of Irmo for July 2022. And we're going
Thank
to make
you
this
very
one.
much.
Here you go. Got it? Chris, you want to tell us about Jersey Mike's? I mean, I know about it, but.
Well, Jersey Mike's, we're from Point Pleasant, New Jersey, my wife and I,
Oh, man.
and that's where Jersey Mike's started. And we opened the first Jersey Mike's over on Broad River Road by Kinnerly Road about 18 years ago, and then purchased the one over on built the one on St. Andrews Road. And we've been there about 9 years. And it's really been a great thing. All of our kids grew up here in Irmo, and we really have enjoyed supporting the community, and of course, the community supporting us. So thank you.
Thank you, Jersey
Really
Mike's. Thank you,
appreciate it.
Chris.
Thank you.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you. All
We
right.
appreciate all
Thank
the
you.
support.
Thank you.
And I didn't have any prepared notes. I should have prepared those.
Oh, sorry. Fantastic. Recognition of the other consideration communication, recognition of the Lexington Medical Center Orchestra Scholarship recipients. We have 2 tonight. Is there anybody from the Orchestra Commission who would like to come up here and make that for us? Yeah, come and make the presentation for us.
Sullivan Hudson, why don't you come right here front and center? And Mike, if you'll scoot around The orchestra is pleased to support students in Dutch Fork and Irmo High School. And these two gentlemen are part of 4 scholarships that were given from the orchestra from 2021. We had 2 ladies that won it from Dutch Fork and Irmo High School. And they were chosen by the Irmo Lake Murray Women's Club. And they also chose these 2 gentlemen to get the orchestra scholarship, going to both of their respective colleges. So gentlemen, if you'd like to tell us what college you're going to next fall.
I'm going to Marshall University.
I'm going to Virginia Tech. So as part of the orchestra, the money that we raise for the orchestra goes back into the community, and this is one way that we're able to support young people in our community. So we're very pleased that the council supports us and that we can support these 2 gentlemen.
Oh, sure.
Oh, come on up. We'll step out of the way and let you take a picture. This is a momentous occasion. The money has already been electronically sent to their universities this day and age. I should have gotten some monopoly. Some monopoly money next time, maybe. Yeah, we'll think about that. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Continuing on, we have Community Connections. Dr. Wallman, is that you?
Yes, I just wanted to remind the community that we have an upcoming National Night Out on August 2nd. This will be at the Community Park of Irmo from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's sponsored by the Irmo Police Department Community Foundation. This is an annual community building campaign that promotes police community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie.
Cool. And also continuing on with the consideration of communications, Artist of the Month, Miss Jana Grace. Do you have any samples of her pictures? Jana Grace is our Artist of the Month, which means that all of her artwork will be on display in the lobby of the Town Hall office complex, the building, and we invite the public to come by and take a look at that artwork. Any more consideration of communications? Seeing none, we'll continue on with the meeting. Presentation by citizens on items 9 and 10 only, unfinished and new business. Is there anybody here to talk to us about those items? Anybody make comments? Okay, moving on, unfinished business. Second and final reading of ordinance 2218. That's annexing 1342 Farming Creek Road into the corporate town limits of Irmo. Is there a motion for second reading?
So moved.
Second final. Mr. Sickinger, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bush, any discussion? Seeing none. Wait a minute, don't leave orchestra. I got some. Okay.
We're having a little conversation. We'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Not that this is boring.
Let's be honest.
Any comments or discussion about it? Seeing none, will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yay.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Second and final reading of ordinance 2219, and that's also annexation into the town limits of Irmo. Is there a motion for second and final reading?
So moved.
I'll second.
Is it, okay, Sickinger and Bush. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Second and final reading, update the zoning map, visual reference. This is ordinance 2220. This is a map that shows where the town limit boundaries are. Is there a motion for second and final reading?
Yes.
Second.
Is that secretary, yes? And Mr. Bush, okay. Is there any comments, any more discussion about it? None? Will the clerk read a roll?
Mr. Bush,
Yes.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Second and final reading of ordinance 2221. This is the additions to the official zoning map. Correct the language to make it consistent with the best practice and state laws. Is there a motion for second and final reading?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
And
Second.
Mr. Sickinger and Mr. Bush. Okay, is there any comments on that? Seeing none, will the clerk read a roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Item E, ordinance 2222, and this to amend the Appendix A of the zoning and land regulation. Is there a motion for second and final reading?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any comments? Anybody? No? Seeing none? Clerk, read a roll, please.
Mr. Bush,
Yes.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. And second and final reading of ordinance 2223. And this is the land regulation and commencement of work requiring a zoning permit before the work can begin. Is there a motion for second and final reading?
So moved.
Second.
And any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay, new business. Item 10, new business. Item B, first reading of ordinance 2224. And this is the land that we just annexed into the town limits. We're going to give it a designation of fringe agricultural, which is contiguous to everything else around there. Is there a motion for first and reading of the ordinance 2224?
So moved.
Mr. Sickinger and
Second.
Mr. Bush. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion? Fringe agriculture means they can have chickens and shoot their guns and that kind of thing over there. It's probably the only place in the town of Irmo we can do that.
And it's surrounded by fringe agricultural, right? Just makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. And they can have farm too. Farm animal. All right, will the clerk read the roll?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Item C, first reading of ordinance 2225. This is also annexing in the property into the town limits. 1191 Dutch Fork Road, general commercial. And this is that, yeah, general commercial, which is further down across from the Walmart. That's where that property is located. Everybody found it? Okay, is there a motion for first reading? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Mr. Bush, go ahead.
So, on this map, it's got the dotted line all the way back into that residential. Is the only part that's being changed just the asterisk part, right?
That's correct. The ordinance on the annexation included all of those, but on the zoning part, we were still waiting for some paperwork on those other pieces. So the only one you guys are considering tonight is where the asterisk is, and that's that 1191 Old Dutch Fork, or Dutch Fork Road.
All right.
Yeah. Any more? Seeing none, will the clerk read the roll?
Mr. Bush,
Yes.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Ordinance 2226, and this is to amend the zoning, which will remove conditional use standards for mobile homes. Is there a motion for first reading?
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there a second? Mr. Sickinger and Mr. Bush, okay? Mr. Sickinger, any comments?
No.
Mr. Bush, any comments?
Yes, so we're gonna remove conditional use, but are we adding anything?
Down here, we're gonna add it.
The
We're
next,
gonna add it back in down here, or add something similar down here.
I yield my time.
No, okay? All right, Dr. Wallman? Bill? Eric, you're okay? All right, clerk, read the roll, please.
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. First reading of ordinance 2227, and this is removing the conditional use referencing mobile home and inserting the non-conforming mobile home standards. This is what we talked about in the workshop. Is there a motion for first reading?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Sickinger, do you have any comments for?
No, at the end of the day, this is really cleanup and modernizing some of these sections, so I'm in favor.
Okay. Mr. Bush?
I agree with Eric. I think we're just cleaning things up here.
Okay. Dr. Wallman?
No concerns.
Bill? Was this Denton?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Will clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yes.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
Mayor Walker.
Yes. First reading of ordinance 2228, zoning and land regulations, section 8.23. And this is again, creates language and regulations for existing mobile homes and if they're gonna be replaced. That's what you were talking about, Mrs. Bush. Is there a motion for first reading?
So moved.
Sickinger, and is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Sickinger, do you have any comment?
No, this is just part 3 of
Okay.
3. In favor.
All right, Mr. Bush, you have,
I yield my time.
okay. Dr. Wallman? Bill? And
No, it's all good.
All good? Okay, will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. First reading of ordinance 2229 to amend zoning and land regulation, deleting section 2.4, which eliminates the redundant languages already addressed in the previous subsection. Is there a motion for first reading?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Danielson, okay. Ms. Signature, any comments? No. Mr. Danielson,
We need them. So I'm all for it.
okay. Mr. Bush,
I'm good with cleaning up redundant stuff.
Dr. Waldman. Okay, will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay, moving on, item H, approval to purchase 3 Chevy Tahoes through the state contract from Love Chevrolet, an amount of $151,829. And is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Mr. Danielson, do you have any comments?
This is all part of the major plan that we've had for these Tahoes, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Mr.
And we're replacing, how many are going off the street? Or are these all brand new to stay to the fleet?
These are going to be brand new
For the 3 officers that are, oh,
no, these are going to replace 3 cars.
okay, right, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Mr. Sickinger? We're not buying electric cars now.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. And in fact, that's the only thing that when I saw this, I said, let me call the chief. And Would like to get some electric vehicles in there, but
I'm
they're not
with
even on state contracts, so
I'm with you.
not yet.
We can be,
You'll catch them quicker with an EV.
Councilman, I spoke with Sheriff Lott and Chief Green in Lexington today, and they both said that if I could find one that was a good patrol-ready vehicle, please let them both know.
Well, don't, because we want them first.
Tesla got a
I
program.
will say, just in advance, since we're on the next summer, there may be a Blazer that's on that list. So keep your eyes peeled.
Mr. Bush?
Ouch. What's the lead time on these, like once you order them, you have any idea?
Yeah, so if I ordered them this evening, which isn't realistic, tomorrow, it would be 4 to 6 months before they come in.
Thanks.
Dr. Wallman?
My only question is just how does this pricing now compare to the last time that we purchased similar vehicles? I'm just curious to know.
I want to say we had 4 on the last one for 1 or 211. Mr. Dennis may be able to remember that.
So this pricing is still locked in from last year's pricing. Talking with the chief today, these, I think we've missed the order period for the next round, but these are going to be excess of the last round. They ordered a few extras, so they're the same price as last time. Now, we did see some cost increases for the outfitting. That's gone up.
So for $50,000, we couldn't buy what's that Tesla model? The one that's high performance.
Yeah. Oh, the Model X, the Model Y.
I think that's what
Yeah.
it is. We couldn't buy one for 50 grand under the
Not-
police program.
Not fitted up. No. You could get a Mach-E for around that price, but
Don't they have a police program? Or they? I saw one. They had one in California.
yeah.
Well, there you go. See, we
You have
can
to be on the
save-
state contract.
How much gas savings will we save on that? Like right now, we're spending about what, another $20,000 or $30,000 a year for gas for these.
There's an
Tahoes?
agency in South Carolina that seized a Tesla recently,
Ah,
and since they've put it out for patrol, they've had a slew of maintenance issues.
really?
Just throw that out there. I mean, I see it coming within the next 4 or 5 years,
Okay.
but I think right now we're kind of in the pattern that we have right now.
Hey, I'm with you, man, but I was just inquiring minds want to know. Thank you. Will the clerk read the roll?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yay.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay, approval for the contract between the town of Irmo and Lexington, Richland County, District 5 for the new school resource officer. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And this,
Second that.
okay, Mr. Danielson, do you have any comments about the contract? Or?
I think we've discussed this at length. We're pretty safe in where the funds are coming from and the renewal of the contract on an annual basis. We're going to have some faith in the system. But I personally, maybe the chief doesn't want me to say this, but I personally feel I really feel it's appropriate for us, the town of Irmo, to watch our schools. So I feel pretty good about it.
Good, I agree. Mr. Bush?
Yeah, I read the 5-page document. It looks pretty straightforward, so.
Okay. Dr. Wallman?
Yeah, I support this.
Okay. And Mr. Sickinger?
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Okay, will clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay. Approval to accept a grant from Richland County Hospitality Tax County Promotions in the amount of $50,000 to be applied to the orchestra. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. This every year we do our orchestra. The orchestra applies for hospitality tax from the county. And I believe the county gave us a poultry $5,000 when they applied for 15. Well, we're a little cajoling in talking to the Richland County Council member, Bill Malinowski. He agreed that that was a paltry amount and we should have gotten more. Our festival, as you know, is 100,000 plus every year. So he agreed to forward us $50,000 from hospitality tax money instead of, in addition to the 5,000 we already got. And I think that was applaud Mr. Malinowski for looking at that and giving it to us. And what we do with the money is up to us. I hope we can do some good things. And I think we might be getting some more later on. I don't want to speak prematurely, but I know that this 50,000, I'm sure the orchestra can find something to do with it to make our festival even more successful. Ms. Signature? Bill? Any comment?
What's the timing?
We got it. We just got to approve it tonight.
So we're gonna have it in this budget.
Yeah. Bill, Bill or Kelly,
I'm always excited when we get free money from the county.
50,000 free money, yeah. It's not free money, it's hospitality tax money. Dr. Wallman?
Yes, this looks like a good thing.
It's a good thing? Nobody's gonna vote against it? Okay. Will the clerk read a roll?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Appointments to the Accommodations Tax Committee, item K. We have an accommodations tax fund coming up. What is about 60,000 in that right now? We got about $60,000 coming up. And like we did last year, and I don't want to repeat it last year, but like we did last year, we are going to have a committee that's going to sit down and look at that money we have available, and they're going to make recommendations to the council on how to distribute that money to different organizations that apply for it. Have we opened up the application period yet? We have. Okay. So when the Accommodations Tax Committee gets together, we're going to put people on this committee. They're going to be making hopefully sound recommendations to us. And we have two new hotels. I'm sorry, we have one new hotel, which we're going to have a person on that Accommodations Tax Committee. And then we have one lady on the old hotel who's basically moved on, and now we have another person we have to replace her with. So that's what we're doing tonight. And is there a motion for the two people? What's the names? I don't see them.
Ashley Lane.
Yeah. And so we're just doing the one in Ashley Lane for the cultural position. Right. Any, huh? Yeah, I guess we can. I mean, I don't see why not. Is that anybody? Okay, so I make a motion for the appointments. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Okay.
I guess it's for Cory. Who is head of this committee?
That happens at the committee meeting when they get together. They're gonna appoint our chairman of that committee. Do you think we need to have a conversation with them beforehand? Okay.
Yeah, once
Okay.
a year, they appoint a chairperson, and they only meet once a year. So the very first action they do is appoint a chairperson, appoint a vice chair, and appoint
Yeah.
a secretary. Ashley Lane is currently a member, and her appointment is running up before our next meeting. And then Billiana Franks actually took Kelsey D'Amico's spot over at the Residence Inn. So that with Kelsey leaving, that made her not qualified any longer.
But we have a full staff, a full committee at this point.
Yeah, there's 7
Right.
positions. Some of them are specific seats, 2 for lodging, 1 for cultural arts, 2 for hospitality, and 2 for at-large. So what's up tonight is a accommodations one. a lodging, which Billiana could sit on, and then Ashley Lane is the cultural arts seat.
Do we have two from the residents in now?
No.
Okay.
You guys appointed Meta James a few months back. She's from the state APT around the
Okay.
corner.
Okay, any more questions? Any more comments? Will clerk read a roll, please, on the
Mr.
two appointments?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay, presentation by citizens. Anybody from the orchestra who wants to make comments on the money we just gave them, they're welcome to come up to the mic and tell us how grateful you are, or you are to us for giving you that money. Anybody else would like to come up to the microphone and tell us things they want us to know? Oh, Mr. Lindauer, how are you?
What a shocker. Yes, very grateful for the Richland County Council member and that helped push this through, and the Irmo Council for accepting that money on our behalf. We will use it wisely. We hope to not be in the same boat as we were last year, where we would be able to go ahead and book next year's entertainment previous to this year's orchestra, which helps us get a better quality act by booking them early. So we hope that now that with this extra money that we weren't planning on, and our regular budget is currently on track, that we could go ahead and confidently put that money down in advance for entertainment for 2023. So we're very excited about that possibility.
Okay, thank you.
You have a question?
Does that mean we get Shania Twain?
You got one person back there, Alexa.
Well, it might be, Dolly Parton between Shania Twain. So, you just never know.
Thank you. Anybody else to talk to council? See none? You're not there to talk to us? Okay. All right. Presentation by citizens is done. Discussion, we have none. Executive session, we have none. Mr. Kelly Bush, that's Bud Light Lime.
Yes.
Okay.
Cans or bottles?
Cans is fine. What's that? Oh, anybody, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
On here it says discussion on results of the bus survey, but here's none.
I think that's old.
All right, good enough.
Okay.
Scrivener error.
I just was trying to drag this out in 25 minutes.
I'll second.
The second motion is adjourned, it's seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Holy moly. Look at that agenda, you wouldn't think that was possible.
Hey, good counsel.
We're going to a conference again next week.